From Dallas, Texas, the flash, apparently official, President Kennedy died at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Why are you a conspiracy theorist? And I said, why isn't everybody a goddamn conspiracy theorist?
This is the real research. Literally have an alien base, and they are literally communicating.
I don't have a whole lot of time.
Have you personally had any experience with interdimensional beings?
What we're thinking of as aliens, they have infiltrated a lot of aspects of military intelligence. They are not what they claim to be.
We leave you much that is undone.
That's one small step for man.
There are great ideas undiscovered.
Visit asteroids, visit the moon of Mars.
Remove one of truth's protective layers.
There's a monolith.
They want the major population centers wiped out.
Will you put your left hand on the Bible and swear to God that you walked on the moon?
One giant leap for mankind.
Because we didn't go there, and that's the way it happened.
Those challenges are yours.
We don't have time for a meeting of the Flat Earth Society.
There are places to go beyond belief. Beyond belief.
Hello and welcome to the Daily Conspiracy Podcast. We don't take days off because reptilians don't take days off. How are we doing, gentlemen? Thank you for joining us again. Rich.
Hello. How are we?
I'm feeling orange, mate.
You all right? I've managed to sort your mum's pussy out there, Ollie. For
Yes,
people who have just joined us, which is everyone, I suppose, apart from us. Ollie's mum's pussy's just been running amok around his room.
Yeah, I'll show it at some point on the show, probably. If it's knocking about. Yeah.
I'm just glad you've managed to shower since yesterday. You've showered, you've changed your t-shirt. Right.
Well, it is the same day as the show that we've just filmed.
What colour's your t-shirt, Ollie? I feel
I had
this
a
is
shower.
controversial.
Yeah.
No. What colour is it?
I'd say it's like a terracotta.
No brain should have to work this hard to work out what colour t-shirt you're wearing.
Terracotta, yeah. Terracotta.
I'd have gone orange, personally. Like a dark orange.
No, it's terracotta. It's definitely terracotta.
Yeah. This is like your pink t-shirts.
That's the sort of thing my wife does. I'll be like, it's pink. She's like, no, it's blush. Like, that's what you're doing, Ollie. It's terracotta. No, it's orange. It's just orange.
Yeah. It's like, what colour's your hair? Oh, it's auburn. No, you're ginger.
Yeah.
I wasn't prepared for this. Anyway, Rich, I heard you want your country back.
You can't have that.
No, mate, I want my music back because yours is shit.
I think quickly, because we are getting like new followers and new subscribers that probably might have not listened to any podcasts before. Rich, tell the lovely people who you are.
Oh God. So my name's Rich, and I hate the government, and I'm starting up I've already started up. I did a strike, which it was all right. We had lots of it was a protest, but we had to call it a strike because we were doing it in loads of locations, so it was like legal stuff. But yeah, some locations had no one turn up whatsoever, none, not a single person. But then others had lots turn up. So we're holding a second one in Dover on the 19th of July this month. God, it's come around quick. And we're all going to Dover Beach, and we're gonna have a big party on Dover Beach, a big protest. So that's what I do, baby.
Well, if last night's show, it will be the night before show, proves anything, if that day happens to have really shit weather, like extra shit, you know why? The weatherman.
We had, I don't know, I think I spoke to you about it on the last episode, Lee. We had loads of people having coughing fits at the last one. So in like London, Manchester, even like Nick Tenconi, who turned up to London, reported on it himself. He was like, everyone was just coughing like unbelievably. I went to Chester and like our eyes were streaming. We were it was weird, mate, really weird. But yeah, so that's
I wouldn't put it past them. I would not put it past them
But
to
it
be.
sounds crazy, doesn't it? It sounds nuts when you say it. I mean, I know you're a conspiracy podcast, but so many people in the comments have said the same thing. They were all having like coughing fits, and we had no signal, none whatsoever, like nowhere had signal. So, yeah, screw the government, man.
I mean, I'm just in the position now. You're right; it does sound mental, but we've just seen so much weird stuff over the past few years that, yeah, probably. Like you do what? Some sort of uh, like a pepper spray, but like a mild one that can just
Mild
be
tear gas
that can just
type.
that can be fed into the atmosphere just to not necessarily like harm people, but just to irritate them enough to where they go, I just don't feel like this today. I just don't feel great. I'm just going home.
Yeah, yeah. No, I wouldn't put it past them. Talking of seeing weird stuff. So my wife, yeah, like the orbs and the objects in the sky that everyone's just completely forgotten about.
Yep.
Well, we were flying back from France a couple of weeks ago. Stayed at a mate's house in France, flew back, and as I was looking out the window, so I'm in the middle seat and my wife's in the window seat. Now, my wife takes the absolute mick out of me for like talking about the aliens and stuff. And I'm sat there and I'm looking out the window, and I lean forward because I'm in the middle seat, and I'm like, what on earth is that? And there is this big, I swear to God, a big black shiny sphere. Now, out the back of it, God's honest truth, gents, right? Out the back of it is like exhaust fumes, okay? Some sort of like exhaust fume. Weird, right? But there's no, it's just a ball. And I looked at my wife and she looked at me and she could see on my face like something was wrong. And she looked out the window and she gasped, like audibly gasped. And I was like, she was like, my wife's mind has been blown. So she's like, she's Googling it all now, mate. She's like a proper convert. But she saw it with her own eyes, yeah.
What? But it had like stuff
So it
coming
was
out the back of
literally,
it.
yeah. So I would say it was probably, I mean, it's hard to tell in it because you're up in the air, maybe about a mile away.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe this like twice the size of maybe a car. But it was just a dark coloured, like dark grey, blackish sort of sphere that was moving along, but it had like it looked like exhaust or like a chemtrail type. It had emissions coming off it, but like there was nowhere that there was no propellers or there was no like it was just a ball. And again, I sound fucking crazy just saying this, but it was mate. It was properly like weird, just absolutely bonkers out there to the point where you look back and you think, have we both seen something that? But it's not possible.
Was this
There's
leaving
absolutely
the
no
UK
way.
as well, or coming back?
So like over the water, yeah. So like
Right.
on the way back, so over the water between us and France. Crazy, absolutely crazy.
Two times the size of a car. Is that
but it's hard to.
But is that like is that you imagine? So from a mile away, you think it's 2 times the size of the car, or in your vision, was it 2 times the size of a car? Do you know what I mean?
Not at all. So
No, like so was it 2 times the size of a car at a mile away, or something that was two that was about a mile away? You think was about 2 times the size of a car?
is that not the same thing?
No,
I'm being thick. Right, okay. It was
no,
like
no. So
I'd
like
say it was roughly a mile away, but for it to be as big as it was, bearing in mind I'm
you
trying to
think it
judge
was about 2
distance when there's
times the
nothing
size
else
of a
around.
car?
I reckon it was about the size, like 2.
Right.
Yeah, weird, mate. Just so, but the fact that my wife saw it, I was like, get in, because for so long she took the mick out of me.
Anyone else in the plane
Ruthlessly.
see it?
Well, we didn't say anything to anyone else because we were just like. So she sat there in the window seat with like my son on her lap. I'm sat in the middle seat. Her father-in-law's to the right of me. He's fast asleep. But we were just like, what? But we tried to genuinely, mate. We tried to record it out the window. But every time we were trying to like get photos and stuff, because the window's right there and it's like slightly stiff, we just couldn't get the focus or anything. It was so annoying. But it was just, genuinely, mate. It was just. It blew my mind because that's the first time I've seen something like genuinely up close. I've seen things in the sky move about, and I'm like, "Oh, what's that?" But yeah, this was a whole other thing. Nuts.
Weird.
I remember seeing one like that. Well, I didn't see it myself, but there's video footage. I don't know if you saw that one that comes up out of the clouds, and it's just got black, like a trail behind it.
Like the big tall thing.
It just like comes up out of the clouds.
Yeah.
Not seeing that. No.
Yeah, it's clearly got a point to it. But yeah, God knows. It's definitely man-made, that with some coming out the back of it. I would have thought, or
Well,
maybe
that's the
not.
thing, but you couldn't see what it was coming out the back of. That was what was so strange, because, like I say, there was no like engines on it, or not. Anyway, you could see it was just a ball. It was yeah.
So you're definitely never getting into politics now, mate, because
No.
now you
Never.
are a conspiracy theorist.
Never. That's it now. But you know what, mate? Yeah, so many people who follow me now, when I'm like, oh, I'm talking about immigration, illegal immigration, mass immigration, I'm talking about net zero and all the rest of it. They're like, it's the WEF, it's WHO, it's BlackRock. People are looking into it now. Like these sort of things that we talk about now, they're not fringe anymore. And I know you've said it millions of times. Conspiracy isn't conspiracy anymore. People are like, actually, this is all very feasible. So, what a time to be alive, man. What a time to be alive.
Well, something I wanted to bring up. I've just listened to. Is it? Who did you say it was? Is his name Robert Malone, the guy that was on? Oh, it's not Robert Malone. That's the doctor, isn't it? Who was the podcast that I've just watched with the guy,
the Scottish guy,
the guy who used to work for Pfizer.
Oh, Mike Eden.
Mike Eden, yeah. So through this podcast, he then starts to speak about the digital ID, and I wonder what your opinion is on this, Rich. I know nobody likes what's going on in the country with all these boats coming in. We don't know who's coming into the country. I can't help think that this is part of the plan for a digital ID.
I'd like to change that slightly, Ollie. I'd like to change that slightly. Realistically, we know all too well who's coming into the country, and there the problem lies.
Yeah, but like, if there is like an elite, yeah, and they want to stir, they want to cause utter chaos because they want this digital ID in place. Maybe they don't even like what's going on in the country, but they're like, this will work, because they'll beg for it. They will fucking beg for it, because all hell's gonna. It just takes like a couple more, maybe even just one fucking incident, for then the government to go, right, we've come up with an idea. Right?
Yeah.
You've all heard of the rumors of digital ID. Well, I think we need to bring this into play, but this is why it's going to be good, because we're going to know where everybody is, what everybody's doing, so that it's going to keep the country safe. I reckon there will be people that fucking get down on their hands and knees for that fucking digital ID.
Yeah, and they'll disguise fear as practicality, and they'll be like, "Look how easy this is to use, and look how." And yeah, they'll capitalize off people's fear to say, "Look, everybody needs to get this, so then we can track people. We know who people are." We are one headline away from complete fucking unrest. I think one headline away. If the right thing or the wrong thing happens at the right or wrong time, however you want to sort of word it, all hell's going to break loose. And that's all they need to say, right, we're going to lock you all down again. And yeah, we're going to start imposing. Because don't forget, like, we've got freedom of movement under the ECHR, and they completely, like, rewrote that during COVID because we were in a state of emergency. So they'd only have to recreate another state of emergency to implement more changes, surely, because they've done it once before. So a lot of these things that we see now, a lot of these things that make the wrong people angry and the right people passive. So a lot of people just bury their heads in the sand.
Yeah,
but
sorry, go. Sorry, I thought we finished. Go
on. But the people who aren't going to take it lying down will retaliate through violence, and that's something that I try to avoid. And I get a lot of stick from sort of, again, the right wing now. It's become fractured. Like, and the left wing it's not left versus right anymore. There's like pockets in each. A lot of people who are right wing now say that I'm too soft. I'm not right wing enough. Don't even know what that means. I assume what they mean is I'm not racist enough. I'm not pushing an agenda enough. I'm not racist at all. But you'll see people on the right say things like, "We just need to get rid of them all." And it's like, why? What's your justification for that, other than the fact that you are clearly racist? So I get a lot of stick for not being right wing enough. I don't know. I think I'm fairly central. I think most most people are fairly central. But what we've got now is pockets of very, very angry, extreme right-wing people who, like I say, we're one headline away from those people just going off, and then that's it. And I think that's what they're going to use to lock us down and implement digital IDs, etc.
Oh, so do you think it'll be the extreme right wing that goes off, and it won't be it will be like one of the illegals? Like,
I think it'll be pockets from every camp. You'll have some illegals, you'll have some extreme right wing, you'll have some fairly normal people just getting in amongst the mix who genuinely are very unhappy with the country. Of course, you're then going to have your left wing lot who get involved as well. I've said this in the past when speaking to Lee. It's people say it's us versus them. There is no us, there is no them. You're just going to get pockets everywhere. But I think you're going to get violence from all sides, and that will then be all the justification that the elite need to start locking us down, locking us up, and putting chips in our brains.
I think the thing Konstantin Kisan said about how there's a woke right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the best definition for it. It's the woke right is the right that is you're not right enough now. You know, there's a right wing which was because the whole I'd say rise of the sort of influencer right wing was your Jordan Petersons and people of that of thinkers essentially. Like there was a time where you had this group of say like Rogans and Eric Weinsteins and who's your guy, the British guy that was on I did like reality TV show. Now he's got the Modern Wisdom podcast. I forget his name. Good looking chap. But like you had him going around everywhere, and there's a load of other people that I could rattle off, and it was like, all right, well, the right has an intellectual powerhouse of like Avengers behind it right now, and the left had Sam Harris, and that was it. You know, that was all. That was all there on the left side as far as what I would consider like the intellectual left. So yeah, the left wing had Sam Harris. Whereas now the right's pushing itself so far. I feel like it's separated itself from that sort of intellectual right, which is now kind of readjusted things a little bit more because now it feels like things are back in the center again. But you can see, like I spoke about, like on the podcast, which people have listened to yesterday. The Overton window has been just cracked open slightly, and we have gone from we should all be kind to each other. Everybody should be accepting. To even like David Icke talking about reptilians and being branded an anti-Semite by everybody at one point. We've gone from there in such a short space of time to a guy on the pyramid stage at Glastonbury calling for the death of Jews. Do you know what I mean? This is all it is. It's because you get a little crack in the doorway and someone's just going, we're just going to let a draft in, and then that second, people with ulterior motives just smash that thing wide open, and that's where you get these extreme sides from. Social media amplifies it, and before you know it, it emboldens people that wouldn't have done it before. Like I thought there was, I can't remember the tweet verbatim, but the post Roger Waters posted up yesterday, where he basically blamed the world's problems on Jews, but he wrote down he just wrote them or something like that. And I think I retweeted it on X saying like, Roger, you're just fucking desperate to say it, aren't you? You're desperate to say it, and you
wants to say it, doesn't have the balls.
You don't quite have the balls to back up what you're trying to say. And it's just emboldening people like that. And but the same goes for the right though with what you're saying. So when we have these problems now, we have And it's a failure of government. It's a failure of government for a long time why we've got immigration issues. Or either that, to be fair, it's either a failure of government or they're doing what they were supposed to do really well. It's just having a negative effect on us. So it might not be a failure. It might be a raging success. But you get the same on the other side, like you say. You get that just send them all home. No, you've wanted to say that for a while, even when everything was fine. You wanted to say that, but now you feel it's okay to say it.
And I think that these people are clearly morons for allowing themselves to be sort of manipulated into a headspace where they think that that's the right thing to do, because send them all home is it's idiotic for a start. Like, however, you're right. You're getting these sort of like, you'll always get like your dark triad types. You'll always get your sociopathic narcissists who, whether they're in the left camp or they're in the right, on the right, they're just bad eggs. And if they can exploit any sort of situation to be able to put their own sort of poisonous views across, they will. So they might identify as left wing, right wing, or whatever, but actually, whichever way you cut it, they're just fucking intolerant. They're just bad people.
They're opportunists.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, and they're just seizing this opportunity to, whatever the opportunity is, whether it's, the Southport stabbings, whether it's what I hadn't even heard of Bob Villain until he was on that Glastonbury stage.
Knob Villain.
I think there is no greater show for me that what we are witnessing is a carefully orchestrated theater. That is, there is elements out there, for whatever reason it is, that are pushing a already fragile fucking nerve in the British public, because the fucking gig on the Pyramid stage in Glastonbury, that's not nothing. Do you know what I mean? Bob
It
Villain
is the largest stage in the UK.
Bob Villain,
centre stage of Glastonbury is.
Yeah, but Bob Villain up till like after this, after the like that show he did, which probably gave him more press and more coverage than he's ever had. He had 20,000 ex-followers.
Yeah.
20. So how many did he have before he played Glastonbury? 10. It wouldn't be beyond the realm of possibility that this cunt became a global, like, I'd say global arsehole. I'm so sure some other people would think he's fucking wonderful. But he gained global notoriety, or at least Western notoriety.
You could argue that he was sort of ripe for the picking. He was the perfect choice because he's not quite, he's not. I don't even listen to music anymore. I was going to say R. Kelly, but that's probably a bad example.
No, I know what you mean, Rich. I don't listen to music, but I'd never heard of that cunt.
No.
But the thing is that if he's got like tens of thousands of followers or whatever, if he's getting bookings and he's doing shows and all the rest of it, and then he gets booked at Glastonbury, like he's hardly a global superstar, is he? But he's not really a no one either. So it would make sense to me that he would be the perfect type of person to approach and say, look, we've got an idea. We can make you a massive success overnight. You just need to do this. And of course he'd lap it up. He's not a struggling musician, but he's definitely one that wants to be on the up. Do you know what I mean? So that's what I think anyway. It's hard, mate, because there's so much going on. Do you ever find yourself looking at these news stories and you think this is absolutely bonkers, but what is the angle? Like what?
I think it's digital ID. That's what I think it's for.
I think it's all for that, though.
Yeah. It's the right. I find there was a really interesting narrative that arose in COVID, which seems to have disappeared. Because there was a hot minute there, wasn't there, through COVID, where Majed Nawaz really, like, he'd been sacked from LBC. He started saying some really interesting stuff, and he was like, he was quite outspoken through the pandemic, and he started his own, like, oddly enough, I think his show is an Odyssey show, which seemed like a fucking weird move to me. But he when he was on, I know when he was on Rogan, it was really good. And then there was another show he did. I can't remember whether it was James Dallingpole's podcast or something else, but he put a really good case together as to why the Germans, like Germany, lost the Second World War. The Nazis didn't necessarily lose the Second World War, and they infiltrated like governments. The blah blah blah. Time happens, and the World Economic Forum is essentially the
Well, a lot of Nazis were hired by the Americans, by the British.
yeah, but I mean, Klaus Schwab's father was a fucking high-ranking SS officer, and so his thing is that the World Economic Forum was the rise of the Nazi Party again. So I don't believe, and this is why I think it's for digital ID. I don't know if you guys remember this. I don't know how up on your history you were, but Nazis weren't fond of many people that weren't white. That was it was a real sticking point for them. Like really, even if you were in a shadow now and again, they'd be like, "Oh, I'm not sure. Can you come into the sunlight?"
Just come back from Spain holiday.
So it seems totally reasonable to me that if Majad was right, and this is like a classic Nazi driven thing, that they would use like another race if they could do to form this, because you're doing two things. You are breeding racism, which, like, if you're a Nazi, it's a good move. You are displacing someone, because these people have been displaced because we've been fucking blowing shit up for ages, and they're being pushed through. Don't get me wrong. I think the whole idea of traveling all the way through Europe just to come to the UK, I think that's wrong. But there's a reason why these people have been displaced in the first place. And I think that's what it is. I think it's just, you do this, you push them through Europe, because it's not just like, it feels, because we're in the UK, it feels like it's just aimed at the UK, but it's obviously not aimed at the UK. It's the entirety of Europe that's being like flooded with this. We are also going to have a drive within the next 6 months to, like, how many, just how righteous can you be by offering to house as many Palestinians as you can, because like that conflict is not going to end well for Palestine. Do you know what I mean? It's just not. I mean, you could it obviously hasn't. It's already not ended well. So you're going to have another migrant caravan come through, where we're going to talk about repatriating people and what can we do, where can we put these people. It's going to cause more anger. And I think that will be the tipping point for people, is when there's another influx of people come in. That's when you're going to get the violence. That's when you're going to get the course for digital ID.
I don't know.
Rich, you've got
I'll just let Rich speak there. Ollie, go
on. I don't know, and there's so much apathy at the minute. We seem to look ahead and we think, oh, do you know, if something else happens, that's it. And then something else happens and nothing happens. Then we think, oh, if something else happens, that's definitely going to be it. And then something else happens and nothing happens. Or if something does happen, it's like a knee-jerk reaction. People take to the streets. They have a bit of a riot. They rob some Greg's pasties, and then everyone goes home. A couple of people get arrested, and then that's it. So genuinely, Lee, mate, I don't know if the British people have it in them. At the moment, people are so fucking downtrodden and beaten down, and they're just trying to get through life, mate. They're just trying to pay the bills. And
I don't think it's that. I think it's a bit, because the problem, the thing is, revolutions are never done by happy people. So at the minute, like 80% maybe, like we'll give it we'll give it a 20% leeway. So 80% of people pretty much all right. 80% of people kind of paying the bills. They haven't got as much money as they might have had like 2-3 years ago, but they're there or thereabouts. they're like, maybe a Nintendo Switch isn't like the impulse buy that the first Nintendo Switch was, but it's like, oh, well, I'll leave it to the end of the month. I'll do the like most people are kind of there. And I think I said this to you last time we were on the Rich. It'll take the middle class as soon as the middle class feel like they're being affected by this, because at the minute you get the riots, and I forgot the lady that's in prison now for the saying about the hotel.
Lucy Connolly.
Lucy Letby. Oh yeah, Connolly. Who's
Letby? Was whole other.
Yeah, Lucy Letby's the one.
Oh, the baby killer.
Yeah, she is the baby killer. Yeah, she is not Lucy Connolly.
sorry, Lucy Connolly. I apologize. you were Ian Watkins.
I think there's a conspiracy there as well with Lucy.
Letby,
but yeah, let's.
Sorry, I've thrown myself off now. Thrown myself off.
Yes, this happened to me on the last episode. Do you remember? Halfway through, just brain fart.
Yeah. Well, I want to say something about that. So Lucy Connolly, she's in prison to this day. Still, she said something on social media. Now, what is the difference between her saying something on social media, deleting it, and then the BBC letting that little twat start yelling out deaf, and
no.
Do you know what I mean? Why is he not in prison?
It's not just like there is no difference in it, Ollie. It's what they did. What the guy on the Glastonbury stage did was much worse.
Much worse.
Do you remember what the tweet she put out was?
I do know the tweet that she put out. Yes.
So she said, "You can burn the hotels down for all I care."
For all I care, yeah, I remember that.
That is not a call to action.
No.
If anything, I think that's actually quite a passive comment. That's like saying, "Oh yeah, for all I care, just do it." Like, and I don't agree that anybody should be
doing that. No, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely not. Right.
Yeah.
However, what she said, bearing in mind, so she was diagnosed with PTSD because she had a child die. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So she had, and it was well documented, she was on medication. I believe she's still on medication for depression and a whole sort of array of issues. Now, that's not to excuse. Personally, I don't think she said anything particularly wrong. Yes, saying burn it down for all I care, you could argue, is a bit like, you're not really doing any good by saying that, so why say it all? However, she said it in the moment. She was clearly very triggered by what happened. She then sort of gathered her thoughts. Yeah, deleted it a couple of hours later, and then admitted to her mistake and said, "Yeah, I did. I shouldn't have done it. I acted in the moment. I'm really sorry." Like, like a human being. Like when we all say and do things that in the moment we think are the right thing to do, or we're not even thinking at all, and afterwards we think, "Oh shit, shouldn't have done that." We all do it, and we've all done it. The fact that she got, was it like nearly 3 years in jail for that one comment that she then deleted? However, is it the Met Police are looking into Bob Villan, that they're aware of it and they're looking into it? Like, Lucy Connolly was already banged up by now, I'm sure. I think it took like 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
She was banged up. It was something stupid like that. It's clearly two-tier. It just is. We've got is that Ricky Jones, the Labour MP, stood there and said to slit the throats of essentially like people who are right wing. And he stood there in a crowd full of an angry mob, screaming it at the top of his lungs to slit the throats of like the right wing people. That's been, is it February now? That's been postponed to next February. It's something nuts like that. It's crazy. The guy that attacked the soldier last year. I don't know if you remember the guy that attacked the soldier on a barracks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he was a lieutenant colonel. In uniform, on an army barracks, and he went and attacked him with a knife. Now, the guy that did that, I can't even remember his name, he still has not faced trial yet because he's too mentally unstable. Okay? Yeah. They keep postponing it. Again, that's postponed till next year, as far as I'm aware, unless it's changed recently, because he has mental health problems. Well, Lucy Connolly was diagnosed before she wrote any of that.
Yeah, that only the mental health problems and like people with mental health issues and PTSD and any of those sort of things, that excuse only works when they're on the right side.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like if she was a raging lefty and she'd said that about Jews, for instance,
Mm-hmm.
nobody would have cared. No,
No.
nobody would have cared. And if something had have come back to bite her, it would have been, oh, you know, she's not well. She's lost a child. That's when all these things would have come in. Don't get me wrong. Like people say, yeah, well, you know, the Bob Dylan guy's lost his record deal, lost his tour, and stuff like that. I was like, yeah, you can get roasted in the court of public opinions, but in the actual cause, and to be fair here, what I would say is, I don't think any of these people should have been charged. Like I don't think, you know, I don't think Lucy should have been in prison. I don't think Bob Dylan should have even been even the kneecapped guys. I don't think they should have been pulled off off BBC. Just let them do it. Like if you're willing to make yourself look like a cunt on television, just do it. Like that's fine. I would rather know because I'm not gonna fucking lie. If I'd have come across Bob Dylan stuff, okay, I think his rapping was shite, but that backing music slaps. So I'm sure,
was fire, as the kids would say nowadays.
I'm sure there is at least one or two songs of his that I would have probably listened to at first and gone, oh, that's okay. That not now. I'd rather not support people like that. That's the worst one for me, because I actually think the Irish band Kneecapped, I think that what they were saying to do was far more egregious than what he was doing. But because he's took all the headlines, people have completely forgot about them. And there's
put on a massive stage.
Yeah, well, they were on the Pyramid stage as well.
Oh, of course they were. Yeah, they were. Yeah, but they'd already had controversy. That's another thing I don't get as well. So, like, the BBC put them on the stage knowing what they've done in the past and what they've said, and they've still pushed them out.
I'm glad you've said they've already had controversy.
Oh, we've got a clip.
No, we've not got a clip. I'm just showing that as far as Kneecap goes, there's only so many times a band can accidentally get photographed with Jerry Adams. Like, it's fucking mental the amount of times these guys have just been there hanging out with Jerry Adams. So, at best, terrorist sympathizers.
Yeah, I just don't understand. I mean, you're right, Lee. You're right by saying it's free speech. None of them should have gone to prison. But clearly, you can make an example of a woman. She's going through some issues. She's already lost a child. I believe her husband's ill. And you know, I don't know. I don't even know how ill or if he can support his daughter. But that woman's in prison now. We don't know when she's going to be let out. The knob villain, you know, and the Irish guys, they just can get away with it. It seems to me, if you're somebody and clearly they knew they were going to do that. This is clearly a move that was orchestrated to cause shit.
Their whole of course it was. Their run list, their set list, everything will have been run through the execs. So
it's not just that. Like this is the thing. It's like, oh, they just rocked up and they were crazy and stuff like that. They had fucking effect. They had lighting guys. They had fucking screens behind them. With like Free Palestine and that sort of thing. This stuff is not something that's just that you work out in the morning what you're going to do.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It has to be planned. It has to be put through stage management. And Lee, you've been in bands and all sorts. You work with bands. You know yourself. Events like that, you don't, like you say, you don't just rock up and go, "Oh, here's a memory stick. Plug that in."
Oh yeah, it's. I just think that there's two reasons. There's two reasons for it. Either Glastonbury were told, we want you to have these people on. That's a possibility. I don't believe that I mean, I could be wrong. Like Glastonbury's always been very lefty, hasn't it? Even when I was there, it was it was lefty, but that again, lefty meant a different thing then. I think. I'm always shocked by in these situations. I've never seen so many flags for another country at a festival. You always get flags at festival, but there was so many Palestine flags there,
Mm.
and it's so that leads me to think like I'm like people can be essentially like Israel Palestine is a regional dispute, right? Regardless of how we feel about what goes on, about which side we believe is more righteous than the other for the actions they've taken. It's like the way I break it down. I'm no way a fucking scholar on like like geopolitics or fucking Middle Eastern politics. But the fact is,
99% of these people don't know what they're supporting.
no, but the fact is that I said to someone the other day actually, because someone the other day told me about Israel is just killing babies, and I said I was like, you know what like the Iron Dome is, and they were like, no, which fucking amazed me to be perfectly honest. I said, well, that was Israel's like anti-missile defense system they put in. Do you think they did that because they were just getting fucking flowers thrown at them and they couldn't handle the amount of bouquets of flowers they were getting thrown into Israel? This is these are places that fucking despise each other. Do you know what I mean? And that will only, and it's not what I want to happen. And I'm not condoning any action here. But the only ways like disputes like that happens is when one of them don't exist anymore. And it's like people are saying, well, what's going on in Gaza is genocide. At the same time, while singing "From the River to the Sea, Palestine will be free," calling for genocide, because that's the only way around that. For that to happen, no more fucking Jews around that region. We're gone.
This will never end whilst there are still two sides who,
no,
like you say, they're never going to stop hating each other. So the only way it can end is if one side simply doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Do you know what though? You hit the nail on the head there, Rich, because
thank you.
I think you're right. I don't think they have a fucking clue sometimes what they're supporting. And I think we're seeing some of the same faces at different protests for different things. Because if you look at some of the
100%,
if you look at some of the pro-Palestine protests,
if you scratch the paint off those signs, they've got Black Lives Matter like 6 layers of underneath.
And at some point they'll work for the opposition because they probably don't care. I do think there's players out there that don't give a shit as long as
I've wondered that before.
Money.
I've wondered that because that's the thing. There's no one. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a moron. That's all.
You are.
But I know. But I feel that I'm sure that people that know more about politics and geopolitics than I do. But amongst that group of people, I just think it's who said it the other day. There was someone that said it, and I thought it was really good and it was right. That the whole like Free Palestine thing is essentially a anti-establishment movement under the guise of caring for another country. And that's so that's what they're using that in the same way that the like Just Stop Oil, I think, is an anarchist movement that is working under the guise of worrying about the planet. You know, you say it's like I hadn't even thought of that actually, and the same as you could say that the Black Lives Matter organizers were a Marxist movement that were moving under the guise of racism. So,
have you not realised yet that? I mean, you probably have. Sorry, I've just completely cut you off. Go ahead, mate.
No, it's good.
So, the Free Palestine lot in America, Canada, the UK, and in parts of Europe now, all have, and yes, all right, they've got the Palestine flags, but they all, you stand up to racism lot. It was the same with BLM, Just Stop Oil. Wherever they are, they all have the exact same fucking signs, the same size,
signs, and the look and the look,
everything,
and the masks. The
this
masks.
is where it's
Let's
a
not forget the
conspiracy
masks.
and fucking Soros money. If we're all honest,
everything.
And George Soros money.
Again, going back to. Sorry, mate. I've done it again. Go on.
No. It's I saw the there was someone was explaining it the other day, where there was applications put out for, I can't remember what, so many fucking riots now. I don't know what riot it was, and I can't remember what fucking movement it was. But in order for, if you could, essentially, they were looking for sort of private security, like private military type guys. And they were offering like, if you can be on call, we don't like need you all the time, but we'll do you $3,000 a day.
Mm.
And it's like, if you do that, you're on like a retainer, and if we need you to go and protest somewhere, you'll go and protest. What they were looking for was agent provocateurs. They were looking for people that had the means to defend themselves and the abilities to go infiltrate large groups of people, like make sure something's incited, and then get out without getting yourself fucking murked on the way.
Mm-hmm. There's a guy called Liam Galvin. I've done his show a couple of times. He's a fantastic guy.
I'm so sure you're going to say Liam Gallagher.
Back in the day, I'd love to sit down and have a chat. Would I love to sit down and have a chat with him? Yeah, I would. Yeah. There's a guy, right? There's a guy called Liam Galvin, and he does podcasts on YouTube as well. And he first told me, so he went to the London phase one, the first strikes, and he said to me, he said, I can't believe it, he said, and he's got it all on footage, it's all on YouTube. They were stand up to racism. They jumped out of like transit vans. They all get the signs, they all get into position, and then they just screamed at my lot for like 10, 15 minutes, 12 minutes it was. He screamed at them for 12 minutes, got back in the van, and fucked off, right? Now, I spoke to Nick Tenconi as well, and he said exactly the same thing. He said, because he was in Norwich, and he said they jumped out the vans. They'll stand there for 10, 15 minutes. They'll get all the photo opportunities, all the videos, all the rest of it, get back in the vans, and they're gone.
I think that's what it's for. I think it's for photo opportunities. I've thought this quite a lot with the marches and vigils and stuff like that, and the you can always tell when you get obviously we're getting a lot of pro-Palestine marches right now. You can tell by the way the photographs are taken, where you go, I can't tell how many people are here. Yeah. I can tell that you've got people in like very tightly packed together. And the weird thing about this is people don't really move like that properly. Like even when you see, like I've been to a few festivals in my youth, and I was always amazed how far you can get to the front if you want to. Like there's always those gaps of air where you watching the TV, it looks like everyone's fucking shoulder to shoulder. It's only really shoulder to shoulder from like 1 to fucking 5 or 1 to 6 from the front up to there. You can pretty much, like, I think it was Pearl Jam actually. Like I read, and like I got there late. I was like, fuck, well this is me watching at the bar. And then by the time I'd fucking slowly wandered my way through and like stood on a few people's feet and looked over, like, oh fuck, Eddie Vedder's there. And it's people don't really like being fucking crushed in big things. It's not right. So it always looks weird to me when you get like maybe what appears to be 70, 80 people that are kind of crushed together, then there's always like a tight, slightly angled photograph going that way where you can't see over them, because if you could see over them, you could see how quickly it would end. And I think that's what it's for. I think it's just like, look, we're going to have photographers here at this point, so you guys need to kind of be in position. The photographers obviously know the role. They know the mission. Their mission is to make it look like a load of people have turned up for this. Where it's,
I've never seen footage where they go, right, everyone, come on, crowd. You know what it's like, mate. Family wedding, funeral, whatever it is. Trying to get people in a photo. I don't know why people are posing for photos on mass at a funeral. You get what I'm saying? You try and get people like together, and it's like, oh no, you move in, right? You move. They just sort of instinctively do it. Now that takes that's got to take some form of fucking training.
Well, when
they
the
must
riots,
go to, like, lefty finishing school or something.
Yeah. When the riots was going on from Southport, I don't know if you, a piece of footage appeared, and it was a cameraman on the street, and he was just there holding, and then you had loads of Asian men all stood still, and then they ran towards the camera. And somebody else was filming that. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy shit. But how come we don't get any whistleblowers like this is what they do? They paid me to do this. This was the team that I was with.
There's been crisis actors come out before.
You'll get some, but don't forget a lot of these people are getting paid to do this. Like, a lot of them probably don't have jobs. They don't really have prospects. They probably did a degree in like some sort of like Nepalese art from the 1400s. Like,
there's going to be a ton of gender theorists. A ton of
you
gender
think they
theorists.
believe in what they're doing as well, and they're being paid for it. So they're like,
I don't think they. But I think you'll have a small number of people who believe in what they're doing because they're fucking morons. But I think most of them are probably just paid to be there. They know they're going to get their 50 quid to turn up for an hour or two.
Yeah.
I wish I could agree with you. But when you had no, I can't. When you had an entire crowd at Glastonbury, like singing like "Death, Death to the IDF."
That's different, though. That's groupthink because they're being led by someone who they've gone to. So, a lot of the people in that crowd will have gone. They will have wanted to see him. There will be fans in that crowd. Now, as soon as he starts singing that, and a few of them start chanting, people in a crowd just yeah, all right, and then they go along with it, mate. Because they're fucking stupid. People en masse. How many morons do you meet day to day? I'm sorry, Ollie, we love you, but how many do you meet day to day, Lee? I'm talking to you specifically now, right?
Day to day. Well, at least one. Even if I don't speak to most people, like I always end the day with one.
These people, when they get together, are even worse. They just are. So a lot of these, that's just basic groupthink. You get someone in a position of perceived authority who is on a stage, who is mic'd up, who is adored by some fucking idiots. The fact that he's just on the main stage of Glastonbury, when he starts chanting something and saying like chant it back, they just do it.
Yeah.
Do you think there's players on both sides?
Yeah.
Say again, mate.
Do you think there's like these players on both sides?
100%. 100%. In terms of players, do you mean like controlled opposition, types? Or
Yeah.
do
you think there's as much as there is? Because it seems. I mean, I said when I watched some of the riots when it happened after that fucking twat, horrible monster did what he did to those girls. I saw them going around the hotels, and I thought this is not going to fucking help anybody. But some of the faces that were seen there, and you were typically seeing on video, and I'm like, how come everybody is a fucking wife beating idiot with a can of Stella?
Yeah, it's always the way.
Saw.
Yeah, it's always the way. I've often thought that it's like everybody, anyone that the media ever fuck me. Is there any chance you could get a fucking sentence out, Lee? Whenever there's white people that are interviewed about race and immigration in the UK. Two types. They are either fucking football hooligans or 80-year-old grandmothers. There's nobody ever speaks to the eloquent, like, 40-year-old guy or 30-year-old guy that turns around and says, no, like, we just think, we need to fucking curb the step back a little bit. Like, as soon as we can sort our own borders out, then we can fucking look at working out what the problem we have in house. But until that point, we won't know until the problem stops coming in. It's it's the same. Like, my thing with that sort of stuff was always the best guy to listen to was Douglas Murray. I think he's always been the most fucking eloquent speaking person about immigration into the UK, and I just wish that there was more interviews with people that listen to people like Douglas Murray. Do you know what I mean? Because when you've got someone like that, which is such a fucking popular person, such a fucking huge writer, there's clearly I mean, even I might not be able to put the best case forward, but there must be a load of people like me. Do you know what I mean? That is just there going like, well, I think this, but you don't necessarily sound like you've just walked out of the pub and you're trying to work out whether you want to watch the second half of the United game or you want to go home and kick your missus in the face, or it's like a fucking 200-year-old fucking grandmother that turned around and said, well, it wasn't like this. There was 17 people in the UK when I was 12. There's no middle ground.
Right, because they'll especially the mainstream media, they'll turn up and they'll interview 20, 30 people and they'll go, ha ha, we managed to find 3 fucking retards amongst those 20, 30 people. So they're the ones that are going to end up on TV. And I don't mean, I probably shouldn't say that because like I am trying to lead like it's probably not right. I don't.
You're trying to weaponize the retards.
Yes, that's what they're doing. They're trying, and they do it.
Weaponized retard sounds like a great band.
Weaponized retardation. Yeah, mate. They do it so well. They do it so well because, like you say, the images now of any sort of protest that is deemed to be like even slightly leaning towards the right. You're right. You've got your bald men with cans of Stella in their hands, who aren't bald because they've lost their hair. Like it's an epidemic. So I'm not like judging any of you. I can see your hairline's receding as well as mine, Ollie. It's going. So I can say this now,
regardless of the amount of takeaways I've had. A medium England shirt is the way to go. Regardless of how fucking much that fabric is stretched to fucking breaking point, like a medium England shirt is theirs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Listen, I'm all for
out of a crowd and
I'm all for rocking the flag, but I know what you mean. It's very much like the typical image you get. It's just the typical image, and it's just like I could even see how they did it. Like, listen, we've got the buses coming in. We're gonna have drink. We're gonna have lots of drink. There you go. Boom. You won't even need to pay them.
Yeah, I've got security at Dover now for phase 2. There's an actual security firm coming in. I've got a close protection, so I've got. I might have said this in the last podcast, so I do apologise if I repeat myself. If I am Lee, just fucking tell me to shut up. But
no, that would insinuate I was listening last time. Carry on.
Right, sound. So we, the police have got bronze, silver, and gold for a person's personal threat level. So I'm silver at the moment based on intelligence that they've had. So, like when I go to Dover, I'm wearing a stab vest and I've got close protection. But we've also got people in the crowd as well, who essentially, because I've said time and time again, like, don't turn up with face masks. Do not turn up off your face. Don't even turn up with a drink in your hand. Wear t-shirts that fit. I'm going to add that in, right? these like, if you are
wear a Brazil shirt to prove you're not racist.
Yeah. Like these people, they're SIA licensed. We've just had approval now from Dover Council, mate. It's funny because Dover Council were like, "You are not going on the beach as a protest," and I was like, "All right." Well, they've said the public are allowed on the beach, so we'll go as the fucking public. We'll just turn up as the public. So that's what we. So I've had a meeting with them. And
Go
they've
as
gone, look,
go as illegal immigrants to let you on the beach. Then
have you seen that guy? What's his name? I'll have to get you onto him. He would be fantastic for an interview. He is he is an immigrant, a legal immigrant, and he's on X. He's real. I can't remember his name. I'm going to find him and send him to you, Ollie, because Lee keeps saying he's going to give me his number and then he never does.
Ollie keeps saying he's going to give me your number. So he's going to give you my number.
He's the possessive, jealous type, isn't he?
You said it today, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I did. I did say it today.
I'd just like to have a conversation when we next book another episode to just speak to someone with and be able to get a bit of clarity, Ollie. That's all it is. No,
someone
so
that doesn't only speak in vowels.
Yeah, I have to send him voice notes, mate. Yeah, I have to send him voice notes, and every now and again he'll attempt to text me back, and I just think, what a spastic. So we go back to voice notes again. So, so this guy, he is a legal immigrant.
Terracotta, this.
He fucker. It spreads, doesn't it? Like I was going to say moronicness. Is that even a word? It spreads. It really does. It's catchy. So
you've spasticized, Rich.
I've been spasticized. I've coming out in a sweater here. So this guy on X, I'm gonna get his name. He came over as a legal migrant, went through college, got a job, and then whilst he was here, he became sort of very politically outspoken, and he decided to stand up and say, "Do you know what? No, these British people are right. There are too many of these undocumented illegals coming over. There's too much mass immigration. So now he's getting deported." Okay.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So they're deporting him under, I don't want to say the Terrorism Act, but it's something similar to that. I'll get all the details and I will get it sent to you. And
another
this guy
white
now,
supremacist off the UK.
Yeah. So this guy now is on X, like live streaming. He's gone back to his country and now he's live streaming his journey back into the UK as an illegal immigrant.
That's incredible. Oh. That is, I'm sorry. That is
genius.
The greatest. What's his name?
What's his name?
No. Alan Partridge. That's the greatest Alan Partridge series that didn't happen. You could have sent Alan Partridge with him. Alan Partridge gets fucking deported for terrorism, and then the series is Alan Partridge trying to illegally make his way back into the UK. Fucking Mr. Coogan, make that happen.
Oh,
that would be hilarious.
He's got British values. He's got British comedy. Nailed on there.
And this is exactly why, if you haven't joined the Patreon, guys, you need to join it, because I'm showing an image now that none of you will see if you haven't joined it yet, right?
It's a
So his name's Sir Shoaib. I'll just send it you, right? Here he is. I don't know if you guys can see. He's just chilling in his tent before he makes the journey across the water.
Make sure you tag me in one of his posts. I need to chronicle this man's journey.
Oh, what a guy. What a guy. Yeah, from Calais to Dover. Hilarious. My ultimate journey.
Oh my God, we have to have him on when he makes it over.
Oh, he is fantastic. He is fantastic. He's just, he's my hero. Can't remember what we were on about before I started fangirling over this guy, but yeah, he's unreal. He really is.
You see, right. This just goes to show we don't give a fuck. You want to come to the country legally? That's absolutely fine.
Have something to offer. That's all we ask.
Yeah. Even if it's just comedy, you know.
Yeah. We do not care just come with something to offer. Don't have intimate relations with underage people, and abide by our laws and our values. Accept and respect the fact that we are a Christian nation, whether we are Christian in the religious sense or just in because our value system is based on Christianity. Mm-hmm. Just have some basic respect when you go to someone else's house.
Our laws are based on Christianity.
The what? Sorry,
our laws are based on Christianity.
Yeah. So just come here, be respectful, and have something to offer. Very simple.
I wonder, like, and I do think I've heard a few different people like come up with different theories for this. Some blame China, some blame Russia, some blame the World Economic Forum. But there is, and it seems to have hit more in the UK. I think it's definitely done. I'd like to go to Australia because it looks nice. But apart from that, I'd more to see the to speak to people, because Australians still seem to be, regardless of how like corrupt their government went during COVID and stuff like that, and how people always say, "Oh, Australia's the test bed for the World Economic Forum" and stuff like that. Australians still seem to have stayed Australian. That doesn't feel like the case in the UK, and I can't quite track where it was when, excuse me, where all of a sudden that Brits were gaslit, brainwashed, whatever has happened, into accepting all other cultures but their own. Because it really does. It really feels like that. Like, and the and it's not good enough. Like when people turn around and say, "Oh yeah, well, the Empire," well, I wasn't alive for the Empire. I'm afraid the only Empire I've ever known had fucking Darth Vader at the helm. So it's not good enough. It's not a good enough reason for like 20 to 50-year-olds to have abandoned identity. And I don't see that. I almost don't blame people for it. I just like to know why it happened and how it happened and who's responsible, because it doesn't feel it doesn't feel organic.
No. It's happened over. I think it was slowly. You look at like the national curriculum now. So children in schools are taught about black slavery, the transatlantic slave trade. Okay. Now, in all instances, as far as I'm aware, white people are with a villain. Okay. Just in general. Do you guys know about the Barbary slave trade?
Yes, but not a lot.
I don't.
No. So this
Where
is something that
barbers were slaves. Because
Yeah,
people needed
basically,
head
they just
haircuts.
yeah, they just grabbed a load of barbers, forced them to cut people's hair, and it was just the most horrific event in history, Ollie. No, so what it was, Ollie. So
it was because they took white barbers and they made them cut black people's hairs, and we just we didn't understand, we didn't know.
Well,
that,
I mean,
there's a specific way to do it.
They didn't know what they were doing then. 'Cause I mean, white barbers compared to black, I mean, colored barbers are a lot better. You know, really good.
I go to a Turkish barber's, but they accept card, right? And I know I've been pushing the whole. You can tell if they're a proper organization or not. These guys have been there for like 20 years in my local council estate, and they're just you can just tell they're good guys, or they're very good at pretending to be good guys, but they take card, and I think, do you know what? You're all right, you are. So I pay cash anyway.
My local Turkish barbers is great.
Yeah, yeah. And I've sat down and I've had conversations with them, because I'm a bit cheeky. I like to, every now and again, I'll spot someone who isn't British, and I think, well, they're not from Britain, and I think, I wonder what they think. So we sat in the barber's
It's
chair.
when you
It
look
was months
down,
ago.
though. It's when you look down and you go in for a shave, and when you look up, there's an ISIS flag behind you. That's when you just want to get out.
He's there with the slit throat razor, just.
Just like to say to everyone, that was a joke. It was just a joke.
Yeah. These I was talking to my local Turkish barber only a couple of weeks ago, and I said, "Look, mate, what do you think about all these illegals coming in and mass immigration?" And he was like, "I'm not going to do that." I nearly did the accent then. I nearly got in trouble.
I would like to hear it.
No, I haven't got the minerals for that. He was like, no, I'm not going to do it. He was like,
close.
He was going, no, you nearly got me. He was like, I'm not going to do it. He said, I hate them. He said, I hate them, and I hate the image they're giving me. He said, I've come here with my family. He said, my kids have gone to British school. They're going to college. Like, and he started reeling it all off. He was like, I pay my taxes, and I believe him because he takes card. And he's exactly the same as us in terms of like, I wouldn't say he was far right in his opinion. I wouldn't say he was anywhere. He was just he's just got the same opinion as 99% of people who were born and raised here. So, yeah, it's. I can't remember how we got onto this subject. Ollie's just completely blown my mind from before. I think the retardation's still not. It's still not gone. But yeah,
can I tell you an immigrant in London story?
Okay.
It's one of my favorite stories I've ever.
So you look very excited to tell this story.
So I'd been in London playing in my old band, and we were guest listed on a club to a club that night. We were on our way there. We were all very excited. There was rumors and talks. There was at least a Gallagher in there as well. Went in. It was wall to wall B-list Big Brother stars, to be fair, but apparently there was a Gallagher upstairs. So anyway, when it ended up just me and the singer of the band we were in, and it was like fucking 15 quid for a cranberry juice and vodka or something like that. It was ridiculous. So we had a couple of drinks. I was like, I've got like 70 quid in my pocket, and I'm thinking I can barely get happy with the amount of money that's in my pocket here. So we need to get the fuck out of here. So we jumped in a taxi to go back to the hotel we were staying at. Now we'd done a couple of gigs, so we'd been in there for a while, and we'd been out and about. So we're like so I don't know London that well, but you kind of get a gist for which way you're at least going back to your hotel. So there's me, the singer guitarist in the back seat. Our rhythm guitarist was in the front seat. We abandoned the keyboard player somewhere, and the stuff might have gone on that was more than the cranberry juice. So me and the guitarist were reasonably paranoid about the whole situation that was going on, and we concocted a story together of going like, he's taking us the wrong way, isn't he? He's going the wrong way. We've never gone this way before. I'm not. So the next thing is, I've essentially instructed, like, if this car stops down an alleyway or something like that, before his seatbelt comes off, I'm going to grab the bottom of the seatbelt to hold him in place. I was like, and you're going to hit him until he stops making noise. And all the time, like I'm getting paranoid because the taxi driver keeps looking up at the wing at the mirror. Obviously, because we think it's because he's checking us out. He's looking at us because we're working out how we're going to murder him.
You're both staring him out in his rear view mirror.
Our guitarist there, and I am going to do the voice, and the driver taps our guitarist in the thing, and he says, "Friends," and he said, "Oh, them. They think you're going to murder us." And he says, "Oh, no, not today."
Oh, steamed up.
Oh dear. I'll tell you something though, to get it back onto a bit of a dark subject.
Thanks.
Cheers for that.
That's also the wrong choice of words.
Oh, I didn't mean to use them words, but the documentary that's just come out on Netflix, or coming to Netflix, I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, the 7-7 one.
Yeah.
That
just
timely.
Feels
timely, isn't it?
Yeah. There's one that's just come out. Is it Paramount? I was going to watch it last night. I ended up listening to your guys' show instead.
You pay for Paramount, you psychopath.
No, absolutely not. So my mum's got it. So I just use her account.
Right, okay. So your mum's a psychopath.
Yeah, fuck that bitch. So yeah, no, I was going to watch it last night. I'll probably end up watching it probably tomorrow. But when's the Netflix one coming out?
I think it's out now. I think you can watch it now.
I think it might be out, yeah. I saw it advertised. I'm like,
I'm
always
I'm
dubious about
obsessed.
those sorts of documentaries though, because it's like,
Yeah,
you know, because it's quite mainstream. Like they'll come in with some sort of. I'm so cynical now. It's you guys. I blame you guys for it because I was not a conspiracy theorist until I started listening to your podcast. So I'm
No,
a
hang
daily
on a
conspiracy
fucking
theorist.
second. Hang the fuck on. Did we start listening to the Daily Conspiracy Podcast or Alien Addict? Either of those podcasts.
Daily Compod.
Well, the Daily Conspiracy Podcast. So the non-conspiracy podcast, the non-conspiracy guy saw a podcast called the Daily Conspiracy Podcast and went, "That's the bitch for me."
Because I'd started looking into things. So like I've said to you guys about like when I was in the army
like a
and I was involved in like
conspiracy
the COVID
theorist, you
stuff.
say?
Yes. So and I thought, do you know what? And I was in my truck and I wasn't driving. I was parked up at this point, honest. And I was like flicking through and I was like, do you know what? I fancy some like let's just have a laugh at some conspiracy. And I put it on and I was like, who are these fucking morons? I'll have a good laugh at these. And I put it on.
You got the truth. That's what you got.
My mind was blown. My mind was absolutely blown. The fact that Ollie's got this far in life and not drowned in his own soup, I was like, right, these are the guys for me.
Soup.
And
it's
then
usually a broth.
like Lee was spitting straight
Anything more than the consomme is banned in Ollie's house.
Yeah, mate. So I started listening to you guys, and I was like, actually, and I just, you just sort of, you had this way of like leading me down the path of conspiracy, like a
cult,
a bit like a cult, yeah, like an unassuming child being led down a path to darkness.
Oh, we went from cult to pedos.
The Daily Cult podcast has got a bit of a ring to it.
I feel people might change the name of that, Ollie. I don't think we might deserve it.
Especially in the comments on Spotify. And they'll think that they've done something dead original as well. Yeah, so you guys weird, to blame for my sleepless nights.
That's good. I've been responsible for a few people's sleepless nights.
I can well imagine.
Never a man's, but yeah.
Do you not feel though, Rich, that like I know what you're doing is like it's a big fuck you to the government. But do you not think a lot of what they're doing could just be part of the plan? It's not the fact they can't control it, is they want it. They need this here.
This is why I'm trying to do it in like stages. So many people are like, oh, we just need to go to Downing Street and we need to like burst through the gates and through the front door, and we need to like chuck the Prime Minister out, and we need to take over Parliament, and we need to do, and it's like, whoa. You're playing straight into their hands. Mm-hmm. A lot of people now who are doing these sort of movements, these protests and all the rest of it, a lot of these people who are like very, very well known figures in amongst like the activism world, for example, they don't give a fuck about us regular folk. They don't care. I've spoken to them. They do not care. A lot of them. I'm not going to say all of them because I don't know all of them. A lot of them don't care. I've said it before and I'll say it again. They want to monetize off people's misery. They don't actually want to fix anything. So you get these people who are like riling people up all the time. They're doing the videos and the posts on X and Instagram and all the rest of it. They're just riling people up, but they're not giving anyone an outlet. So what I'm trying to do is create something where, and I do it in phases. I'm trying to sort of build a following, and I'm trying to stay sort of middle of the road whilst also being sort of true to my beliefs. And I'm trying to do it in a controlled manner where people aren't just going to have those sort of knee-jerk reactions that I've mentioned in the past, where you see it all the time, like these groups come up and they're like, right, we're going to go and protest. And then they go out and then it's all kicking off with the police. And I want to try and avoid that as much as I can.
I think you're right. I think I'm certainly on some of the influencer stuff, and I realize as well that there's certain people that if you're not having to deal with now, you might have to deal with in the future for this sort of thing. So I don't expect you to chime in on this at all. But like for me, like when we talked before about people that are eloquent at speaking and stuff like that, and like educated people talking about it, I'm always let down by the like Lawrence Fox, because I like Lawrence Fox. I like him in interviews. I think he comes across very well, clearly intelligent, clearly well spoken. And then like there'll be posts, the which I got wrong as well, to be fair. The driver that went into the Liverpool crowd, and like it's Lawrence Fox immediately retweeted that with "You can't hate them enough," and there is no. And don't get me wrong. Again, I think he should be perfectly fucking allowed to say whatever he wants to say. You are always better knowing what someone is thinking. It's much worse. Look at like progressive activists, full of hate, words of love. Joe, I would prefer to really know what those people think of me and the people around me. I've always thought with him, he's got more to offer. Like he could, if he could speak to a much wider audience if it wasn't for the fact that I think he kind of likes just the base he has, just like winding them up, and like you say, it comes with the clicks. And I don't know what he's doing monetarily through any of it or anything like that. I know, and that's a weird thing about the Twitter thing. I think like lots of people do it for clout. You need like fucking numbers to start making like money on X.
Yeah. The thing is there's lots of people like Lawrence, and Lawrence is a perfect example. So the last time we spoke, I think it was just before we went into the last show that we did a couple of weeks ago. We were talking just before we went on air. And I said to you that I have posted things in the past and I've deleted it because afterwards I thought, what the fuck am I saying? And it was that exact incident was the last time I did it, where that car was driving through the crowd of people in Liverpool. Now, I knew none of the facts, none of them whatsoever.
No, but what I will say is I 100% forgive anybody for not thinking that was a racially motivated attack by Islamists, because every time there's been something like that happen between like Christmas markets and stuff like that, it's the whole reason we have fucking bollards up for Christmas markets now is to stop
the far right
like that happens. Yeah. So it's that I get why people jump to that conclusion.
I get it, and this is me being completely honest because I've been in that position. Like but a man should always own up to his mistakes. I've made the mistake of going.
Hang on, I just need to go and speak to my son.
Okay,
sorry, that was a terrible joke. You said a man should always own up to his mistake.
It's going to take a lot more than a talk with your son, Lee, I imagine. No, I've done it in the past and that was the last time I did it, where my mind instantly goes to that place. Because don't forget, is it like 92% of all attacks in the UK are Muslim, essentially? So it's something crazy like that. MI5 released statistics, and I think 92% of terror attacks in the UK have been carried out by Muslim extremists, Islam extremists.
Yeah,
okay?
that I found that wild. I can't remember what there was a show we did when I went through like the terror attacks in the UK over the past 20 years, or something like that. I think I did, and it shocked me how many there was. Like like when you start forgetting terror attacks, like we need to fucking have a conversation about something.
Yeah. I mean, we said before about the soldier that was stabbed on his own barracks in the UK. Now, I can guarantee most people who had heard of that story haven't thought about it for months. It happened a year ago. Now that, 10, 15 years ago, that would have been like...
feels like that, like
a lifetime ago.
Like it happened ages ago, yeah.
What about the old man? The old man that were killed as well, The old man that was...
a terrible thing. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, there was an old man that was... I think he was stabbed to death. And it was like... and I think it was something as he said, "This is for so-and-so."
Nope. Gone. No
Yeah,
idea.
well,
And
yeah,
that's
that
awful.
happened. That happened. That was like literally. It didn't really. I heard that from other shows. This is why I'm hazy on it. I literally heard it. I heard it on one show, and I heard it on Liam Tuff's show today with Charlie Veach talking about it. But the details of it, the news article, never saw the news article. Never saw it.
No, you won't. It's we're so overwhelmed with these stories now because they're just constant. It's just story after story, attack after attack. And again, going back to what we were saying before with Lawrence Fox and me making the same mistake myself, is when you see these attacks, your brain automatically goes to that place. I now have to, when I see something, because all right, I'm nowhere near like Lawrence Fox's level. Across all my platforms, I think I've got like 300,000 followers or something like that. I think he's double that just on X. But I know that that's quite a lot of people who, whether I like it or not, they see me as like some sort of definitely a leader of this of the movement that I've created. So with that comes some responsibility. So I had to learn very quickly that I couldn't just mouth off like I used to as somebody that nobody really knew. Now there are, there is a small group of people who, if I say something, they immediately like, oh well, he said it, so it must be true. So I need to double check myself now. Lawrence Fox is far more intelligent than I am. 100%. You can tell just in the way he articulates himself, in the way he conducts himself, the things he's achieved. He's far more intelligent than I am. He still doesn't seem to have realized that he's in a position where he needs to self-regulate. That's probably not the right word. He needs to filter he needs to think before he speaks.
Oh, I
And
think
a lot of the
he
time
knows. I
doesn't,
think he knows. I
or
think that's why he doesn't do it.
or he's doing it purely because he thinks, well, if I put something out and it gets like 1 million impressions, that's probably $2,000 in the bank. Easy money.
Maybe. I don't know. I think more so than monetizing X. I think the clout is worth more to him. To keep him, yeah. Because I don't think I could be wrong about that, but I don't think X plays that well. Even I think it's a
no. I was wrong with the $2,000. I did one post that I think it got like 900,000 impressions. It was about Pakistanis at the airport, and I think I got like $200 and something for that.
Yeah,
so
it's that's. But I mean, saying that especially if you're in the position where, because of your following, your tweets do numbers anyway. You can tweet a lot during the day, I suppose. But yeah, I think it keeps him relevant, stuff like that. And it's because it kind of like, I mean, who knows, maybe I'm completely wrong. But his views have torched his career, so I don't believe that's fair. Because even when you go back to what he said on Newsnight, I don't particularly think he was wrong. I just think that if you've done that to yourself, he's annexed himself. So whether he's annexed himself just like through pure morals, like just no, like I am. This is what I believe. I'm sticking with it, which I hope that's what it is. Then he still has to continue to walk the path, because when you've annexed yourself from everything else, then you at least need to keep your base on side, because otherwise, especially because he is a professional, like, public personality, so he needs that. Otherwise, he's got no income anymore. He's got no. That's him.
Because I don't think he does have another income stream.
No. His job is Lawrence Fox. What do you do?
Mm-hmm.
I'm me. That's what I do for a living. I am me.
Rich, what do you think the chances are of a change in government in 2029 with what's going on at the moment, especially with what's going on with reform and this supposed other party that's starting up?
Reform harder.
Yeah, I think they're just splitting the vote now. That's all they're going to achieve. with what? Not Rupert Lowe. It's Ben Habib, isn't it? Who's starting the actual party?
Yeah,
Lowe's just
Rupert
a
Lowe's
movement.
involved though, isn't he?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think potentially it's just going to split the vote. I think Reform will win if they carry on, but a lot can happen in the next 3 years, 4 years, mate. A lot can happen.
It is a long time, to be fair. Because I thought this the other day, because I can't remember who was speaking to my mate Ollie, actually, where we say there's not enough time. I think there probably is still enough time. I think we're in such a fractured time now that
look at what Reform achieved in 8 months in the lead up to the last election. They've got. However, I think my sort of my following is quite a good sort of indicator of general public opinion. And in the comments now, whenever Reform are mentioned, it's quite 50-50, on.
I'm 50-50 on Reform. I'm 50-50 on Farage, and I've always been a bit of a support for Farage. I've always liked him. I've always thought, if nothing else, because we've had disaster. This is the thing. I'm not afraid of any government coming in after Labour, because we've had terrible governments in the past. We'll have terrible governments in the future. But there's always been that bit in the back of my head going, I'd just like to give Farage a spin. I'd just like to see. Let me see what it is. Because this is the thing. People are saying that, the stuff he's saying and things like that. I'm not past. I don't. This is not the best thing to want from your politicians by any stretch of imagination. Me turning around and saying, I really hope this politician lies. I'm not past thinking that Farage is saying the right things for the time to do the right things in the future.
God, I hope so. Because some of the things he sort of U-turned on. So when he was on about
pandering to the Muslim vote is fucking.
Yeah.
Hang on a sec, because this is it's again. This isn't the bash Muslim show, and it's not what I'm trying to say. But when one of your running platforms is Islam is a danger to the UK in its extreme form, and we seem to be importing extreme Islamists into the country. You can't start going wishy-washy on that right now. That was a bad move. I think it was a bad move of separating himself from Tommy Robinson as well, the way he did. I think that there was a lot of people he included that went, it's in the same way as I look at the Daily Mail. Every time the Daily Mail trashed Tommy Robinson, I look at it and go, you're supposed to be the right-wing newspaper. Everyone turns around and says Daily Mail, it's the most right-wing newspaper in Britain, and you go, well, it's trashing the supposed right-wing commentator. So I don't know where that stands anymore. It's it would be
he's
like
either
the Guardian.
very badly informed. Nigel is either very badly informed, he's taken some really terrible advice, or he just doesn't know his target audience, because all he had to say with regards to Tommy was, look, he's made some mistakes in the past. I don't agree with everything he said. However, the documentary he made about the grooming gangs, personally, is admirable. Now, you cannot deny the fact that if Tommy hadn't put that documentary out, the general public, these grooming gangs, and I don't even like calling them grooming gangs. It's not grooming. They are raping and torturing these children. They are rape gangs. You cannot deny that the general public, they'd know next to nothing about these rape gangs if Tommy hadn't done that documentary.
No, they wouldn't know anything. They wouldn't know anything, Rich.
No. All Nigel had to say was, I don't agree with everything he's done and said. However, I think his work on that is admirable. And just left it at that. Okay? Are you going to be including him in Reform UK? Well, I'm not going to answer that at this moment. But what he did was,
he lied. He said he'd beaten his wife beater or something.
Point blank, yeah. Oh, he's been charged for, what he said was crimes against women. And it's he said it knowing full well
what the connotation of that is.
Yeah. When you say a man has committed crimes against women, so many people, you automatically think the worst thing, and he fucking knew that when he said it. So he's done and said a lot of things. It's like he was saying about banning halal. Now, whether you agree with that or not, that's up to you. Personally, I think it's barbaric. Not because it's a Muslim thing, just because I think it's barbaric.
Yeah, no stun slaughter is fucking is sick.
It's same. I feel the same with kosher as well. Like they're both
and
very
similar. And that's not
even the salt. Ollie gets so upset about the kosher salt. Those poor salts.
Yeah, Ollie. Oh, look at his face. For people
Himalaya rock salt.
You're not going to get to see his face.
Yeah, there'll be no kosher salt in this house.
Yeah, so Nigel's just said some really fucking out there stuff that just makes you think you're not thinking about your target audience whatsoever, or is there something else going on in the background?
I think he knows he can become prime minister purely in the same way that Keir Starmer became prime minister. Keir Starmer became prime minister because the Tories did a terrible job and threw the towel in before the election. Like I said on the lead up to that, the Conservatives didn't act like a party that even wanted to try and win a general election. Richie Sunak wanted the fuck out of there, like as soon as possible.
He did. He wanted straight out.
Yeah, and the great thing is he handing the keys over to Keir Starmer as well. I think he knew that nobody's going to fucking think about him again. No one will think like apart from Keir Starmer going, well, look what we had when we came in. But it's fucking horrible. Like, I've never disliked a politician. I was going to say as much as Keir Starmer, but then I remember Jess Phillips as a person. But okay, I mean, there's fucking two sides of the same asshole. But I just think he knew that like Keir Starmer was going to do such a terrible job. People will eventually. Nobody talked about the Tories when in another 4 years' time. Once Starmer's fucked it all up, and so I think just like Starmer got in, I think Farage knows he can become prime minister purely off the back of Labour's failings.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of all you need to do now is stay in the slipstream, stay ahead of the Conservatives. Then you give yourselves, you are either the desperation vote or the protest vote.
Yeah, as long as
do you think Farage would smash the gangs?
I hate even using terminology like that. It's Starmer terminology.
Yeah. No. So these gangs they're not just operating in the UK. So first of all, you haven't even got jurisdiction over these gangs. Did you watch that Patrick Christie?
Patrick Christie.
Is that how you say it?
GB News, is it?
Yeah. So he's just done a podcast now, which is strange in of itself because like he is MSM, and he's just done a podcast. I'll send it to you
today, Rich.
Did you?
Yeah.
And the things he was saying about these gangs, they can't be smashed. They're international gangs. Like no UK government is going to smash these gangs. Like their reach is far too wide. They can just pick people from all over the world. They can get them in. They can get them in jobs within. Was it 10 minutes? Patrick said 10 minutes. Because they did it themselves. They duped these gangs that were bringing people in. They pretended to be asylum seekers. They could literally land in the country, and within 10 minutes, they'd have contacts for like a job at Uber Eats delivering pizzas. Like they're not. It's terminology. It doesn't mean anything. We're going to smash the gangs. You're not smashing. If it's not a Ukrainian boy, you're not smashing anything here.
It's like might be smashing a couple of grams of gear, but that's about it.
Yeah, gear Starmer. Yeah. So empty words, mate. That's all it is. It's empty words.
Because
anything can stop it.
You're not going to stop the gangs. The only thing you can. Sorry, go on, Lee.
Sorry, I know the people of the UK can stop it, but do you think I don't think a prime minister's got I don't think any of them got it in them.
Herein lies the problem. Because you even look at like Trump in America, and he was like, "We're going to release the files." No, what was
yeah,
what was that?
Do you know what the problem's the water? Like the strength of what should be protecting our border is the issue, because you will need such a sway in public opinion to get away with it. Because so you look at the like the ICE deportations. So you've got people going around in America that are literally taking people that shouldn't be in the country, have entered the country illegally, and they're being sent back to the country of which they came. Right. That should be a non-partisan issue. Like you are taking, but by just being, I don't care whether you've worked like for 10 years and you've been a moral citizen. By illegally gaining access to a country, you entered the country a criminal. Like day one, first footstep was the footstep of a criminal. And you see the pushback that the ICE deportation's gone. Again, something I think should be a bipartisan issue. The issue the UK has in order to stop that is you need to make it unattractive. So we can do that onshore. We can stop the benefits. We can stop the housing of hotels. We could have gone with the deportation plan where people were going to get sent to Rwanda. I did find that so weird. Like, where are they coming from? Don't know where we send them. Rwanda. But that I found it odd. But the only other solution to it, and this is not something I'm advocating for, because it would take me fucking a lifetime to work out the moral quandary of how I actually feel about that. You need to let one sink. You need to turn one away, and no politician will want that on their hands. It's political suicide. If you have a boat full of refugees come in and you turn them away and something happens to that boat, it is political suicide. That you will get torn apart by the newspapers. You will get torn apart in Parliament. But realistically, that's the only way to really. You need to make it unattractive to get. You need to make it unattractive to try and come here, and dangerous to get here.
The problem is, as soon as they enter UK waters, they're protected under our laws, aren't they? They're protected under ECHR, so they've got rights to.
That's why you
to
have to.
healthcare.
You'd have to repeal the Human Rights Act, wouldn't you?
Exactly. Yeah.
Or at least maybe not repeal the Human Rights Act. You would have to rewrite the Human Rights Act.
Well, the thing is, because we've got our UK human rights, so we've got the ECHR as well.
Yeah.
So I've spoken to a load of lawyers and they've all come back with essentially the same sort of consensus, which is that you could literally we could opt to leave the ECHR. Okay. Now a lot of people go, oh yeah, but that gives us our workers' rights, minimum wage, and all the rest of it. You could literally copy and paste the ECHR, delete the bits that you don't want, leave the bits in that you do, and then be like, right, that's UK law now. Done.
Yeah.
Literally done. Now, multiple lawyers have said that to me. So why can we not just do that? Why can we not just say, look, if you come here illegally, you will get emergency healthcare. If you arrive here and your leg is hanging off, we will give you emergency healthcare. Then as soon as you're better, we will send you on your way. Oh, we've arrived here. Right, okay, there's your spot on the beach, on the fucking shingle. Like, putting them up in hotels, giving them priority housing. It's just... We've got
we can't go with it. We can't go with it.
No, and this is the thing as well. So a lot of people say, "Oh, you're just racist." Even if
we can't sustain it.
Even if now I had a sudden change tomorrow and I thought, you know what? I really think we should let them all in. There would still be something in my brain that would go, however, that is mathematically unfeasible. We cannot afford these people to come in, whether we want them here or not. It is not doable. We are in. If you are, you're at home, you've got your family, you've got your house, you've got your rent to pay, your mortgage, blah 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 blah. You're in debt up to your eyeballs. Do you start paying for other people to come and live in your house, or do you say, well, no, sorry, you can't. Like, I'm not eloquent enough to put it into words, but we simply cannot fund it. It can't be done. So it goes beyond race and all. These people we can't afford them. It's that simple. We've got
going to bankrupt
people living on the streets. Yeah,
it's going to bankrupt the fucking country.
The fact that we're already bankrupt, Ollie,
we are already, yeah.
But we're still donating money to other people, other countries. It's fucking nuts. It's wild. It is in Lee speak. It is fucking wild. Our debt is 3 times our GDP, and we're still giving billions abroad to other countries. Like, it's crazy.
Do you know what I find really weird with all this that's going on, with the war in Israel and between Israel and Gaza at the minute, and everything that's going on over there? It seems to have gone quiet in Russia and Ukraine.
Yeah,
it's still going on.
It is. Do you think there's like an element?
It's not the Cold War anymore, Ollie.
But do you think there's an element like of Vladimir Putin where it's like he's been a constant barrage of like news and stuff like that, and how like Putin's the next Hitler, he's going to bulldoze his way through Europe, and we've had like a couple of years of this as just constant daily news, and now he's kind of turning around going, so I can have this now. I just yoink.
This is mine now.
As Eddie Izzard would say, back to Russia. It's
Do you know what I mean?
Then there was that random news article, wasn't there? Do you see that random news article that was circulating about a week ago? Like, the reason these migrants are coming in is because Russia.
I know. I saw that. I was like, oh,
like, what the fuck?
See, do you know what though? I would even take. I'll entertain. I don't know if it is, but I would even entertain that the anti-British, like white British sentiment we have in the UK now is down to Russian misinformation. I will accept that as a thing, but the idea that somehow the Russians are behind the migrant invasions into the UK, like that can get in the sea. That I'll turn that away at the beach. That's fucking stupid. But yeah, no, I saw that article as well. I was like, fucking how stupid do the media think people are?
I mean, there could be something to it. Maybe like Putin just went like, let's spread this message that the UK is going to give this, and just spread it everywhere. Get it out there. And then all of a sudden, it worked. It's like, fantastic.
Russia have a migrant problem. They don't, do they?
No, they don't. Russia don't even have a opposing political party problem.
Yeah, fair dues.
That's what I do. I do find it funny when people turn around and say, "Yeah, Vladimir make a much better prime minister." Yeah, I mean, I hate Keir Starmer as much as the next person, but I'm not going Keir Starmer to. Oh, isn't Vladimir a lovely guy? Like he had that one moment. He had that one moment where he took the dog off the Chinese like emperor or whoever he is, and you thought, okay, you like dogs. We have something in common, Mr. Putin, but you're still fucking killing journalists and fucking political dissidents.
Man, I'd be more satisfied with a fucking bag of foreskins as prime minister than Keir Starmer.
A bag of foreskins. That is a fucking awesome term that I will use tomorrow. Like
it just popped in.
We need to save that as a little soundbite.
Bag of foreskins. And if you'd like to get a bag of foreskins,
but Ollie will give you the no, I'm not saying that. Even Even if anti-Semitism is cool, I can't say that joke. If you've enjoyed this podcast, thank you very much. Please go subscribe to the Patreon. Pays $5.99 a month. We'll give you early access to videos. We'll give you free, ad-free podcasts. We'll do a monthly hangout with you. There is a link in the description if you want some of our merch. There is something else which I've forgotten. Please go and give us 5-star reviews on whatever platform you listen to. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. If you want to leave us a review on iTunes, please do. Again, you guys are letting us down. Leave comments on Spotify, leave comments on YouTube. We will get around to reading them all. I love when you guys leave the Spotify comments. It's great. Rich, tell people about what you do and where they can find you, all that sort of shenanigans.
So if you want to get involved, if you're in the UK and you want to get involved in protesting against the government, head over to Facebook, X, or the Chinese one, TikTok. Just type in the Great British National Protest and we'll pop up as if from nowhere, and you can give us a follow. All the information you need is on there. And if you want to, come and join us on Dover Beach on the 19th of July at 12 p.m.
Well, Rich, good luck, mate. And
thank you.
I think give it 10 years, give it maybe 15. Maybe you might be Prime Minister.
Mate, I nearly did a voice of an immigrant 20 minutes ago. It's not happening. I'm not that guy, Ollie. Just let it go. Let it go.
Okay.
And he can't be Prime Minister in 15 years anyway. You know, he's not Muslim.
From Dallas, Texas, the flash, apparently official, President Kennedy died at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Why are you a conspiracy theorist? And I said, why isn't everybody a goddamn conspiracy theorist?
This is the real research. Literally have an alien base, and they are literally communicating.
I don't have a whole lot of time.
Have you personally had any experience with interdimensional beings?
What we're thinking of as aliens, they have infiltrated a lot of aspects of military establishment. And they are not what they claim to be.
We leave you much that is undone.
That's one small step for man.
There are great ideas undiscovered.
Visit asteroids, visit the moon of Mars.
Remove one of truth's protective layers.
There's a monolith.
They want the major population centers wiped out.
Will you put your left hand on the Bible and swear to God that you walked on the moon?
One giant leap for mankind.
Because we didn't go there, and that's the way it happened.
Those challenges are yours.
We don't have time for a meeting of the Flat Earth Society.
There are places to go beyond belief. Beyond belief.